you've gotten to work with some amazing filmmakers.
Yes.
What was the collaboration process like for Joe Wright? And does he share anything similar with all the other talented filmmakers you've worked with?
Yeah, I've been really lucky. It was actually a dinner I had with Nicole Kidman a while ago. Before I can't remember exactly, it was before I did Australia with her, and she was saying, director, right? Always keep going for that. And if you look at her career, how she's sort of been guided by working with some esoteric different, but always directors with great vision, and it's something I've never forgotten. And from Darren Aronofsky, obviously Woody Allen, to Baz Luhrmann, Bryan Singer, Chris Nolan, I have kind of been driven by that, and Joe Wright was the first and main reason for me jumping on board this, because I'm a massive fan of his. I also love the fact that he was taking on something that was really different for him, because I think that that's really interesting when a great director with great vision takes on a kind of tone or world, or a family film in this case, which is something they've never really done. And when I first met with him, he told me this really charming, beautiful, I think very real story about how he was a very creative, very eccentric 11-year-old kid who was brought up in this very creative family of puppetry. Like they ran the puppet theatre. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
So it's the number one puppet theatre in the world, but there was no money, but it was just creativity everywhere, making shows and puppetry, and he was this really creative kid who kind of went to school and had that beaten out of him a little bit, and he realised, oh, this is not cool actually. It's not cool to turn up at school as the great Kazam, this Chinese magician, or it's not cool to turn up and dressing up, and so he extinguished it, and as he said, I want to make this movie to bring that part of me back again, and I want to make it from that uncool kid's point of view. And I have a 3-year-old boy who sees pirates and all this magic and wonder is real, and I want to do it for him. And I was like, the moment he said that, I was like, I'm in.
I have to ask, you got to sing as Blackbeard?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. Does this mean that
Neither was Warner Brothers.
Right.
It wasn't in the script, by the way.
Really?
No, that was not in the script. That was actually Joe's idea. Sorry, you didn't even ask.
No, I was going to make a joke that we get to see you as Blackbeard singing, which I wasn't expecting. Does that mean Logan sings in the next?
Yes, there's the scoop. Yes, the final one is the musical. I mean, I think it makes sense. We're building up to the real Wolverine, which is singing and dancing. The kick line.
But getting back, so that wasn't in the script at all.
No, there was that great sort of speech and this pontificating long speech where Blackbeard welcomes in the new kids and he's being adored or feared, whatever. And he came in one day during this rehearsal. We had a rehearsal week, pirate boot camp, Joe used to call it, where we would do improv. So for 9 hours a day, we would stay in character as our pirates and do a whole bunch of improvs and theatre games and things like that. And one of the things Joe was trying to get was a song to begin the day, to get that feeling of pirates, and so he had sea shanties and he had all these kind of songs, and then finally he came in one day with these lyrics to Nirvana's Teen Spirit, and we was just all like rah, rah, jumping around, and that's when it dawned on him. He goes, this would be the perfect entrance, and it's the moment you arrive in Neverland is this entrance for Blackbeard, and it kind of says to the audience, just let go, man, just go for the ride. Don't worry, we're not in this world of reality, and we're in a kid's imagination. And yes, we can, like villains can be wearing ruffles and samurai wigs and be all dressed up in plumage, and we can sing Nirvana songs. And pirate ships can fly.
What do you think it is about the Peter Pan story that has resonated for generations with people, and that it still captivates everyone?
I don't know if have you read Jane Barrie's book recently?
I'm illiterate. They don't let me read anything anymore.
They don't let you. Right. No, you're not good enough to read it.
Right, no, it's still
read it. Like I read it because I had to, Jane Barrie's book, and it is amazing. First of all, it's quite sophisticated. I tried to read it to my kids, and they were like too impatient. It wasn't quick enough. It was actually using big words, and the language was way far superior than kids use these days. But there's a cautionary tale aspect to that. And it's very poignant as an adult to read it, because what he's talking about, let's get back to your question, is don't lose or careful of losing that childhood innocence. It struck me that actually in quite a lot of scripture, that I think in the Bible, I don't know exactly, I'm paraphrasing, but be like a child, like the way to enter the kingdom of heaven is through the heart or mind of a child. Like it's the children who will come first. Like there is something about the innocence of childhood that we forget and we lose and we become adults full of responsibilities and we worry about what other people think of us. And that's why I think it endures for adults. For kids, it's just an amazing story of action and sword fights and travel and far off places and the ability to watch the heroes overcome all their fears, which is why fairy tales exist in the first place, to kind of reflect all those fears that kids have.
I think that this movie is a fantastic family adventure movie.
Yeah.
My sister has kids. They're going to all love it. I think they should all see it in 3D.
Yes.
I think the 3D is great.
It is great, yeah.
Is one of the reasons you signed on was something that like basically your entire family could see?
It's a bonus for me because it's rare for me to do a movie that everyone can see and that I know everyone will enjoy on some level. But it's a bonus. That was icing on the cake. The first thing that really drew me in was Joe. I just really loved why he was doing it, and I loved his vision, and I loved his sense. Actually, I didn't really answer your question before. The great filmmakers, no, I can't generalize because someone like Nolan, you feel he knows the movie from beginning to end. Like you feel like he's known that movie for 15 years. I feel like Nolan has got 5 movies in his head right now.
He probably does.
Fully realised, and as brilliant as they are, and he knows them, it just needs the time to get them done. Joe, on this, I don't know, on his other films, was able to be free to create during the process and to let it evolve and to allow actors to come up with ideas. I mean, I remember when it was in a rehearsal that in that scene with Peter, I offer him my sword. I said, I'm holding the sword to his throat. I said, can you fly? I said, are you here to kill me, Peter? And I actually offered him my sword, and then Joe just sort of loved that. And Joe went, that wasn't in the script. And then we sort of playing with this whole idea of the thing you fear may actually be the portal to your release to the thing you need the most, and that, I didn't even think about it at the time, but of course, Peter runs hook through from behind in the original source material. And so as I go over to the window, there's that moment, and Joe was saying, I thought, oh, here's the moment, here's Peter, this is where he becomes Peter Pan, and he's going to run the villain through the back,
Because I'm just about out of time with you.
Sorry, I'm
talking
too long.
No, please. I recently spoke to Patrick Stewart,
yes.
And he mentioned that he perhaps is in the last Wolverine movie with you,
yes, yeah.
And maybe it's more than a cameo.
Yes.
What can you tease people about the final installment?
We have really been talking, look, I'll be really honest with you, the actual script in its full form, we're up to about page 60. Obviously there's a treatment, so it's not fully done yet, and we're not fully there, and Patrick does figure in it, that's for sure. Because I think it's a really important relationship, but I want to see sides of that quasi-father-son sort of relationship that has not been seen before, and sides of particularly Professor X that have not been seen before. And so we have some really, really cool ideas, but I'm saying but and I'm sounding a little cagey because this is the last time I'm playing it, and I have just made the commitment to myself really and told everyone that until that script is perfect, until it is that perfect way to sign out, I'm not going to start shooting. And so that's why I'm a little like, I don't want to say yes for sure, because until page 115 or 120, whatever it is, and
so the studio hasn't said to you, oh, we want to start shooting in April or March, or do you know what I mean?
No, the plan at the moment, the ultimate plan is let's start shooting next year, and I've started the eating. I don't know if you just saw my meal that I've taken out, but I'm into it. So I'm starting the training, I'm starting the eating, and mentally really preparing for it. But all of us, not just me, the studio as well. I'm trying to do something with this that is a little special, a little different. I've got a very, very strong idea of what that is. I really have known for quite a long time how I want to finish this sort of odyssey that I've been on, this amazing journey. So and I won't let it fall anywhere in between. I won't fall short of that.
You mentioned that you have a treatment. Is the treatment something you're very happy with? Is it something that everyone is like, oh, this is it. Now we just have to break that out onto the script?
90%.
So that's great.
90%. The treatment, yeah. So I feel that I'm pushing. I'm pushing harder than I've ever pushed before. Because I suppose the stakes just go up when you announce before your last season that this is your last season.
Sure.
You don't want one game to not be your best, not to put your best into it. And I want to leave enough space. I've got nothing else on. I've just got enough room to make sure that every single day of prep, I absolutely give my best. And that way, I think people ask me, how are you going to be able to kind of let it go? And to me, the only way you can let it go is if you've just left blood on every day on that, studio floor.
You shot in Australia. You've shot Wolverine everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have a dream of the location? Because I would imagine you have a little pull on where you make the movie. Are you envisioning going back to Australia to shoot?
Possibly.
Because they have great sound stages there.
They do. And possibly the dollar's being nice too right now. That is one of the things that is up in the air a little bit. So not 100% sure where we'll shoot. But and that is part script, part life,
Sure.
family life and all of that.
Sure. I have to go already. The next time we see each other, you're going to play Save or Kill. Which,
we missed it.
Let me hit stop.